He commands a $2.6 billion empire across New York's skyline. Yet, Richard LeFrak, one of America's most powerful real estate billionaires, remains this mystery figure almost no one talks about. It's a striking paradox, isn't it? Why would someone with such immense wealth and influence deliberately choose to remain virtually invisible?
Yeah.
This isn't just another tale of a rich person. It's a deep dive into a truly fascinating choice. Okay, let's unpack this.
It really is compelling how LeFrak's story pushes back against our, conventional ideas of what wealth and power look like.
Right.
Most moguls clamor for headlines, but he's built this incredible legacy of skyscrapers, transformative waterfronts, billion-dollar developments, all while actively avoiding the spotlight.
Actively.
Yes. And this blend of immense wealth and deliberate obscurity makes his narrative not just intriguing, but quite revealing about how true power can operate in plain sight, yet go largely unacknowledged. His approach might even, redefine our understanding of success itself.
That's a powerful way to frame it. So to peel back these layers, we've gathered insights from various sources, and our mission today is really to explore the facets of this silent titan. We'll delve into his unique financial mindset, his long-game career strategy, what we're kind of calling his anti-success habits.
Interesting term.
Yeah. And his enduring philosophy of life, his brand of silent social influence, and how he navigates crises. Most stories about billionaires focus on the headlines, but with LeFrak, we're exploring a different path, one where power seems to come from unseen influence and lasting impact.
Exactly.
What does that teach us about success that maybe the flashy moguls might miss? This deep dive is tailor-made for you to quickly grasp these profound lessons. So let's confront this core mystery head-on. Richard LeFrak is estimated to oversee $2.6 billion in assets. That's billion.
Huge numbers.
Yet in a city like New York, where wealth usually announces itself with penthouse lights and Wall Street bonuses, he treats his fortune almost like a secret. His empire is enormous, but it doesn't shout. It's truly a quiet colossus.
And what's truly intriguing is how this deliberate absence from the public eye isn't a weakness for him. Not at all. It's actually a cornerstone of his strategy.
A strategy?
Yes. His wealth isn't designed to grab attention. It's built to endure. That's precisely why he remains so elusive. It makes you wonder what fundamental differences in his approach allow for this quiet accumulation and preservation of such immense fortune.
It seems to start with his fundamental relationship with money. Unlike many self-made moguls who view wealth as, a conquest, something to acquire and brand.
Right, like a trophy.
Exactly. LeFrak inherited a dynasty already valued in the billions. The LeFrak organization, founded way back in 1901 by his grandfather Harry, stands as one of New York's largest private landlords. Richard assumed leadership in 2003, taking the reins of an already formidable century-old empire.
And this inheritance, it fundamentally shaped his perspective. For him, wealth isn't a personal trophy, it's a profound responsibility. Yes, to preserve and expand a legacy that was generations in the making. He sees cash flow as the oxygen for long-term building, not fuel for public recognition or extravagant display.
Right.
He once made a rare public comment saying real estate is about patience, not instant gratification. That statement really distills his financial DNA. Wealth isn't about what you flaunt, it's about what you can quietly and sustainably build for future generations.
And that's just a world apart from so many other billionaires we track, while they're often chasing public valuations, IPOs, or, splashy acquisitions.
Always the next big thing.
Right. LeFrak remains anchored in tangible assets that produce slow, consistent returns. So for someone managing their own long-term assets, what's the lasting takeaway from his approach, especially compared to the short-term focus we often see today?
Well, it highlights a powerful truth. Sometimes the true measure of wealth isn't its visibility, but its durability. What you can quietly pass on, what you can build to genuinely last for decades, that may matter far more than what you can display for fleeting attention or, immediate returns. It's a deep shift in perspective.
Okay, so let's talk strategy. When Richard took over the family business in 2003, his mandate wasn't to reinvent the wheel.
No drastic changes.
Exactly. But to quietly expand an empire in a way that preserved its stability while carefully opening new frontiers. His entire career strategy, it seems, can be summed up in one word: endurance.
You can absolutely see this endurance strategy clearly in how the LeFrak organization expanded beyond its traditional New York strongholds. Throughout the 2000s, he orchestrated acquisitions of prime office and residential properties in burgeoning markets like Miami, Los Angeles, and Hollywood.
Okay.
Take, for instance, the partnership to develop One Hotel Homes South Beach in Miami back in 2012. This wasn't just another luxury project. By integrating sustainability at its core, he was quietly tapping into an emerging market trend.
Ahead of the curve, maybe.
Yeah, that few in traditional real estate were fully embracing yet. It shows that forward thinking, even without fanfare, was a crucial part of his long-game strategy.
What's truly remarkable is that his strategy was never about speed.
Never.
Richard often emphasized that wealth in this industry grows like trees, not like fireworks.
Great analogy.
Yeah, and the Newport development in Jersey City is a prime example of this. Once a sprawling, derelict waterfront, it was transformed under LeFrak's steady vision into a thriving urban community.
Just massive transformation.
It now boasts skyscrapers, offices, residential towers, more than 7 million square feet of office space, and tens of thousands of residents. This wasn't an overnight success.
Far from it.
It required patience measured in decades, not quarters, and began under his father in the mid-1980s, with Richard nurturing it through multiple recessions and market crashes.
Decades. And that stands in such stark contrast to Wall Street's obsession with quarterly earnings, right? LeFrak's empire thrives by playing the slow compounding game. His deliberate restraint, his willingness to wait, it becomes his strength in a city that's addicted to speed. His career reminds us that sometimes the boldest strategy isn't to chase the spotlight, but to stay deeply rooted until the world finally recognizes the towering forest you've been planting all along.
Wow.
It's about building wealth that lasts by resisting the urge to simply perform for the present moment.
It really challenges what we typically think of as success habits. Richard LeFrak isn't posting motivational mantras or, flaunting his morning routine like some Silicon Valley billionaire.
There's no rise and grind post there.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Instead, his monumental success seems to be built on a few quiet, almost invisible disciplines.
Well, one of his defining behaviors is just this extraordinary patience with scale.
Scale, yeah.
He's known for projects that span decades, often developed without much fanfare. That Newport project we just mentioned. Its success wasn't luck. It was the result of relentless, long-horizon consistency nurtured through countless economic cycles.
Steady work.
Then there's his distinct preference for invisibility. While most real estate tycoons meticulously cultivate a public brand, think of Donald Trump in the 1980s, for example.
Right, very public.
Richard has built his wealth by cultivating silence. His public appearances and interviews are exceedingly rare, and this gives him a paradoxical strength. Less scrutiny, fewer distractions, and more pure focus on the work itself.
So the silence is an advantage.
His absence, in many ways, becomes his competitive edge. And finally, colleagues often describe his disciplined approach to negotiations. He's measured. He never rushes to speak first.
Interesting.
And often, he lets silence do the heavy lifting. This subtle behavior frequently tips the balance in his favor in rooms filled with ambition and noise.
It's almost counterintuitive, isn't it? Richard LeFrak seems to thrive on habits that completely buck the trend of what we consider success today. He actively avoids constant visibility, he resists speed at every turn, and he leans into an almost radical patience. And yet, these are the very behaviors that have sustained a multi-billion-dollar empire for decades.
And this tells us something timeless and powerful. Success doesn't always demand a spotlight. Sometimes the quietest routines, the patience to wait, the discipline to truly listen, the humility to avoid unnecessary noise, can actually forge the strongest and most enduring empires. It's a powerful counter-narrative.
Now, these habits are so deeply ingrained, it makes you wonder about the underlying philosophy guiding his life. LeFrak lives with immense visibility through his assets, yet near invisibility in his personal presence.
That duality again.
Yeah, his decision-making truly reflects this duality, a calculated patience mixed with a quiet willingness to embrace uncertainty.
His decisions, you'll find, emerge from a deeply measured pragmatism. It's a philosophy he inherited directly from his father, Samuel LeFrak.
So it's generational.
Very much so. When he assumed leadership in 2003, his guiding principle wasn't change everything, but rather keep everything enduring.
Keep it enduring.
His philosophy is elegantly simple. Protect the core of the business, but expand carefully and strategically when the timing is unequivocally right.
A crucial example of this philosophy in action was his decision to hold vast assets during the 2008 financial crisis. While many developers panicked and liquidated.
A lot of panic selling then.
Huge amounts. Richard stayed remarkably still. His portfolio, largely built on residential real estate with stable rental income and long-term holdings, provided a vital cushion. This wasn't just a smart financial calculation, it was a deep philosophical consistency at play. He simply refused to let temporary storms dictate permanent moves.
And this brings us back to his philosophy of silence as a form of power. In an age where billionaires tweet their every thought.
Right, everything's out there.
Richard's silence is not passive. It's profoundly strategic. It shields him from controversy, it protects his organization's reputation, and it grants him the freedom to negotiate without the noise or distraction of public opinion.
So it's control.
This isn't avoidance. It's a deliberate philosophy of exerting influence through a calculated absence.
Emotionally, what strikes me here is that Richard LeFrak seems to believe the true measure of a life isn't in how loudly it's broadcast, but in what endures long after the voice falls silent.
That's powerful.
His developments, Newport's skyline, Miami's luxury beachfronts, those Los Angeles office towers, they will outlive him. And that permanence appears to matter far more to him than any fleeting fame.
This truly reveals that philosophy isn't just an abstract concept. It's embedded in the choices we make every single day. For Richard, it means resisting the noise, staying anchored firmly in the long term, and allowing permanence to consistently outweigh performance. His life whispers a powerful reminder. Not all power needs to be visible to be undeniably real.
Let's talk about his understated relationship with power. While many billionaires chase influence through politics, media, or celebrity.
The usual channels.
Right. Richard's power fundamentally resides in the very fabric of the cities he builds. Every tower, every complex, every waterfront he develops quietly shapes how tens of thousands of people live, work, and interact. That is influence at its most invisible, yet undeniably its most enduring.
The Newport project in Jersey City is such a potent example of this kind of city-shaping power, often hidden in plain sight. It transformed an abandoned industrial waterfront into a thriving community for over 50,000 people. This wasn't merely a construction project, it was the creation of an entire urban ecosystem, a testament to long-term vision and sustained influence on a massive scale.
And to address his political connections, because those come up, we know he's been connected to figures like Donald Trump, whom he once described as a personal friend.
Right.
In 2017, he even joined the Trump administration's infrastructure advisory panel. But crucially, he never pursued the spotlight or a permanent political role.
Didn't stick around in D.C.
No. His power, we see, does not stem from microphones or public office, but from his vast real estate portfolios and the intricate networks cultivated quietly over decades. And to be clear, we're simply reporting on the content provided here, not endorsing any viewpoints, but trying to understand the ideas contained in the original source material.
And what's insightful is how his understated style actually seems to amplify his influence. By avoiding constant exposure, Richard gains access to rooms where true decisions are made. Philanthropic boards, exclusive investment partnerships, critical city planning committees.
The rooms where it happens, so to speak.
Exactly. His presence isn't felt in headlines, but in the concrete outcomes he helps shape. He wields what we can call silent power, operating without fanfare, yet leaving permanent marks on society.
The emotional layer of this mindset is quite clear. Richard LeFrak seems less interested in being remembered as a personality and far more as an architect of the actual spaces where countless lives unfold.
The work speaks for itself.
His skyscrapers and communities truly outshine any speech he might give, standing as his real legacy.
And this illustrates a profound truth. True influence isn't measured by how often your name trends online, but by how deeply your work shapes lives and environments. In Richard's case, his empire clearly demonstrates that power, when consistently paired with restraint, can be both invisible and absolutely unshakable.
For Richard LeFrak, it seems crises are not interruptions. They're simply chapters in his much longer game.
Just part of the story.
Yeah. His empire has weathered recessions, housing slumps, and the seismic shock of the 2008 financial crisis. What defines his leadership is not how he avoided these storms, but how he steadfastly weathered them.
Think about his response to the 2008 crash. When banks were collapsing and developers were filing for bankruptcy, big names went down.
Right.
The LeFrak organization stood firm. Their portfolio, leaning heavily toward residential properties with stable rental income, provided a critical cushion.
The residential focus helped.
Definitely. Unlike more volatile commercial properties that can quickly empty, residential holdings often maintain more reliable cash flow even in severe downturns. Richard chose to stay still, refusing to sell at fire sale prices, thus preserving long-term value.
He didn't panic.
This patience through crisis mindset became a hallmark of his leadership, allowing him to ride out the storm without being forced into desperate sales.
And he showed that resilience again more recently with the COVID-19 pandemic, which tested landlords globally. Office vacancies soared.
Huge uncertainty.
But Richard leaned heavily on his diversified strategy spanning residential, office, retail, and luxury. This meant no single collapse could sink the ship.
Diversification paying off.
Exactly. In fact, he doubled down on certain areas, particularly Miami and Los Angeles, which actually experienced post-pandemic booms as migration trends dramatically shifted.
What makes Richard's crisis strategy so unique is his unwavering refusal to play the short game, while others chase quick liquidity or rapid exits.
Getting out fast.
He treats downturns as strategic opportunities to solidify control, maybe acquire assets, and strengthen his position. Crises, for him, become filters, eliminating competitors who burn too fast, leaving the patient players with stronger ground upon which to build.
The paradox here is powerful, isn't it? In moments when fear screams the loudest, Richard LeFrak's silence becomes his greatest weapon. He seems to trust time more than fleeting trends, and resilience more than frantic reaction. His empire stands as undeniable proof that survival isn't about speed, but about profound endurance.
And this offers a timeless perspective. True wealth isn't defined by how high you soar in good times, but by how steady and resilient you remain when everything else around you falls apart.
Well said.
For Richard LeFrak, crises are not merely setbacks, they are the ultimate proving grounds for his legacy.
In the end, Richard LeFrak's story really forces us to rethink what it means to be truly wealthy and influential. His empire spans skylines, his fortune is valued in the billions. And yet, his name rarely dominates the headlines. That paradox, we've learned, is not an accident. It's a deeply intentional choice. Richard LeFrak has built a life where influence outlives attention, where permanence matters far more than popularity.
And this brings us to a compelling insight. Power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, quietly shaping cities, lives, and futures while the world looks elsewhere.
Yeah.
In Richard's silence, there's clear intention. In his patience, there is undeniable strength. And in his absence from the spotlight, there is a profound presence that simply cannot be ignored. Mystery for him is not a weakness, it is a form of mastery. To live without needing to be seen, to shape without demanding credit, to endure without announcing every victory, this is the true art of lasting power.
So you've heard how Richard LeFrak chose silence in a world of noise, patience in an age of speed, and legacy over recognition.
What about you? Does this make you wonder if influence should always be loud and visible, or if there's untapped power in being silent and enduring?
If this deep dive has sparked something in you, perhaps these insights will stay with you, building foundations for your own understanding of power and purpose.